Good afternoon, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I love my mic. I love my mic. It is Sunday, November 18th, December 18th, I'm sorry, 2022, and I know y'all are cursing me for filth. But in all fairness, let me give my disclaimer. I did share with you guys that I planned on really buckling down and focusing this semester so I wouldn't have as much time to record. But I did let y'all know that when I made a comeback, it was going to be real, son. Is it really real, son? Is it really real, son? Let me know it's real. So look, I'm back. And I'm back on a whole new level. I'm on a new level. Look, listen. I'm back on some new ish because remember I talked to you guys about I said that I would start reviewing shows. And I wanted to start with Power. I think I was starting with Power 2 because we had already gone through all the scenes of the original Power, and because I am so invested in TV, I love watching TV. That's one of my favorite things to do, right? And a lot of these shows that I watch now, I get fully invested in. And then you have all the other ratchet shows that I watch that I can get a good laugh from and, get my little cackle on. And those are the ones that I really be wanting to talk about because I feel like all of the other ones, you have to kind of be on the same wavelength as a person to watch those shows. But with the reality shows, listen, you could be from any walk of life and still get a cackle off the reality shows. So one of my guilty pleasures is the Zeus Network. I probably would love to host a reunion for one of the reality shows on the Zeus Network. The Zeus Network is crazy. Okay, they are crazy. When I say crazy, I mean crazy, because the reality shows that they have on there, um, it's a lot going on. 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 So since it's a lot going on, it can give you a good old cackle, right? And the reality of the situation is I like to get my cackle on. I'm a funny person and I like to watch things that are entertaining and funny. So one of the shows that they have on right now, which I don't know how many folks are tuned into because I didn't see many people doing a review on it. And in all fairness, it just started last week, but I promised myself since I was going to start show reviews, I wanted to start with a show that was just starting because it is kind of hard to jump in the middle of something that's been going on and try to like play catch up. Even though I'm a binge watcher, so that wouldn't bother me. But I just think it would be odd for people to be like, "Okay, girl, you just started watching this show. It's on season 4, and now you're reviewing it." I'd rather start with a show that's just starting fresh, so I can review from the beginning up until the very end. And what I'm going to be reviewing is Chrisean and BlueFace, Crazy in Love. Now, I'm not going through the rigmarole of explaining who Chrisean and BlueFace are because they're all over the headlines. If you don't know who they are, Google Chrisean Rock and BlueFace and you will know who they are. Alrighty, Zeus Network gave them a reality show and it's called Crazy in Love. And last week I watched its first episode. It came on last Sunday. Now I was looking at the Zeus Network earlier today. That's what made me say, let me hurry up and get this recording out, because I assumed that because it came on last Sunday, it would come on again this week Sunday, and it may come on later, who knows. But I wanted to get this review out about the show so you guys can tune in and watch episode 2 and we can have some discussion about it, right? So like I said, I'm going to go through my notes and review what I saw, tell you guys what I think. um Sometimes the topics regarding these reality shows will get a tad bit heavy because I did see some things that, although, like I said, reality shows like to give you a cackle and things of that nature, some things I saw I really didn't find funny, and it's really some things that just as a people we need to address. So sometimes when reviewing these shows, the topics will get heavy, but for the most part, I'm here to just kind of review the show, let you guys know my thoughts, hear some of your feedback, and keep the dialogue going for my YouTube channel. So before I go any further, before the review, if you are here, welcome to my channel. If you're an old subscriber, you better not be cursing me out. You better have missed me and watch this video in its entirety. And you also better go like and comment and share this video with somebody. And then you also better watch Crazy in Love, the Chrisean and BlueFace show on Zeus Network. Alrighty? I might be nice and give out my Zeus login. We'll see how nice I'm feeling and generous. I think I owe you guys. And but if you're a new subscriber, please make sure you go and subscribe to the channel, or a new watcher. If you're only watching, make sure you go and subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share. And if you have subscribed already, welcome, 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 welcome. A lot is on the way these next couple of weeks, so be prepared, because I have a couple of weeks out of school, and I plan on utilizing that time to give my YouTube family everything that they want and they need. Also, I know my old subscribers are cursing me for filth, because another thing that I did promise is that when I returned, I will look human again, because for the entire duration of the semester, I was homeless. And as you guys can see, I'm still homeless. But that's okay. That's okay. The semester just ended yesterday. Give me a little grace. Give me a little grace. I plan on, spoofing myself up for the holiday season and coming back whip, snatch, and ready to let y'all know. Okay? So don't play in my face. Alrighty. Anywho, make sure you go like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm on social media, of course, so go follow me at Operation Hill 100 Hearts on IG, or born_Bossy with 4 Ys on IG. I'm on Facebook, Khadijah Allen. I'm just here and I'm around. But make sure you have like, comment, share, and subscribe here. Okay? So let's get into the show. Like I said, I do not have the leverage of going back and telling you guys the whole Chrisean Rock and BlueFace history, because I don't know their entire history. I just know they're always in the headlines for their very tumultuous and volatile relationship that some folks are rooting for and some folks are totally against. Me personally, I'm in my own relationship that some folks might be rooting for and some folks might be against. So I'm not going to say if I'm rooting for or if I'm against Chrisean and BlueFace's relationship. What I will say is I'm watching because I would like to see how all of this unfolds, because thus far it has been crazy, but they've done their due diligence, because their craziness in the headlines is what got me here willing to watch the show. Alrighty, so let's get into these notes. When the show came on, I watched the trailer for the show, which came out, I want to say, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And what I will say is Zeus has done a fantastic job at pulling folks in for this show, because I was intrigued by the trailer. I liked all of the scenes that they showed. I liked the music that they played in the background. I liked the way the trailer ended. It left me really intrigued. Like, I'm going to freaking watch the show. And what I also want to say is that I'm an emotional person, and a lot of what Zeus did with the trailer, and I can see they're going to continue to do with the show, is they're going to tug at your heartstrings when it comes to this couple, right? I think some people, including myself, is going to start off feeling one way about this couple after the first couple episodes, and I think by the end we might feel something totally different. But again, we'll see. So anyway, how the show initially comes on, it comes on just like the trailer. So, of course, I'm there watching because I'm like, oh, my God, like this. Okay. These people look like they just have a very unique love story, right? Okay, and then after they show all of the ins and outs and snippets, to kind of tug at your heartstrings, in the end, it said this is their journey, flaws and all. And I'm not going to lie, I honestly felt that way after I watched that little part. Like, this is their journey, whether it had flaws and all. So, Zeus, y'all did a good job there. I got to give y'all props, right? So then it starts off, the first scene is they're in New York for Fashion Week. All right, and they start off on this tour bus. It's only Chrisean Rock and BlueFace. Sometimes you'll hear me say Rock. I prefer to call her that. Her name is Chrisean Rock, but I prefer to call her Rock. So if you hear me say that, don't be confused. Like, who the hell is she talking about? That's Chrisean as well. But I just prefer to call her Rock because to me that suits her. Okay, so they start off on the tour bus and they're playing Never Have I Ever. For folks who don't know about Never Have I Ever, it's like really like a drinking game. So it's okay. Somebody will stand up, like say if it's 10 of us playing, everybody gets a turn. On my turn, I will say never have I ever had a threesome. I've never had a threesome. If you're one of the 10 people playing and you have had a threesome, you have to take a sip because that lets people know your truth, right? If you've never done it, you don't drink. So that's what they're playing, right? Never have I ever. And there was a situation in the headlines about Rock fighting BlueFace's mom, but that happened initially, right? You guys, again, can go Google that. I'm not going through the rigmarole of explaining all of that, what's to do and about when they had the fight. But apparently Rock fought BlueFace's mom, right? So one of the things that she said when it was her turn was she said, never have I ever let anybody fight my parents or beat up my mom or something pertaining to what happened with the situation with her and BlueFace's mom. I mean, me personally, I didn't really find that funny. I don't think that's a joke. I think it's a crying out loud goddamn shame that anybody's spouse would fight their parent. But either way, nowadays these young people move differently. I can't say what's right or wrong in the world today, right? I can only speak about how I grew up. So anyway, they made like kind of a joke about it and so on and so forth. Two of the things that I noticed, one was that BlueFace acne is very, very, very bad. You know, it was something that stood out on the show because I know that reality shows usually have glam squad. The only reason why I felt like they should have a glam squad is because prior to the reality show, they were like, quote unquote, somebody. I know normally when reality shows are in their first season, folks don't have a glam squad around. So it's like, listen, I'm coming in here. I didn't, pat it down my own face. But when that is initially what happens when it's like your first season and first show and so on and so forth. But for the both of them, she has been on prior reality shows. He's actually had a reality show prior to this. He had a rap song. Like they were actually like quote unquote somebody prior to this. So I thought that they would, kind of have a glam squad around, but clearly they didn't because BlueFace hair didn't look combed and his acne was atrocious, to a point it really stood out. And I'm looking at that like, wow, I would have thought they would assist in that area. But anyway, that's what they're doing on the tour bus. And then another thing was Chrisean didn't have on a shirt, a bra, or her tooth. Now, I want to have some conversation about this detachable tooth, right? Because I'm going to struggle with this. I'm going to struggle the entire season with this detachable tooth, right? Because it's one thing to be missing a tooth, right? That's one thing, okay? I have bridges because I was missing quite a few. Listen, I'm not here to judge, okay? But my bridges are not detachable. So if I'm having a bad day, I can't just tear the whole roof of my mouth out and sit it on the table because today's not going well for me. So I'm going to really struggle with Chrisean yanking her tooth out whenever she feels like it. It's right in the front, and it really bothers me that sometimes you just detach the tooth because you're having a bad day. Like, I don't like that. I just don't like it. And from prior to the show, again, you guys can go Google it on your own. I don't know what happened to her tooth. I think it got knocked out on the original reality show she was on with him. And then she went and got a new tooth and she put his face on the tooth. And sometimes she yanks the tooth out. Sometimes she puts the tooth in. I mean, I would think in order to look human, you would keep your teeth in your freaking mouth. But apparently, I don't know if she has to, do you have to cement the tooth in when you put it in? Do you have to screw the tooth in? Do you just sit the tooth in, boom, and it just magnetically attaches? I don't fucking know about how you keep the tooth in, but apparently she must don't like having the tooth in because she did not have on a shirt, she did not have on a bra, and she did not have in her tooth. That bothered me. Okay, that bothered me, but okay, we got past that part, right? So they playing that in the tour bus. They get off the tour bus. When they get off the tour bus, they head over to Daniel Furs or Daniel Leathers. Daniel Furs. I think it's Daniel's Furs. Whatever it is, it's in New York, right? Because they're in New York for Fashion Week, and they go inside the store and they trying on matching furs. And another thing that I was not happy about was again. Chrisean did not have on a shirt, a bra, or a tooth. So that she just took her jacket off and she didn't have a shirt or a bra on right there in front of the staff and employees at Daniel's Leathers or Furs or whatever the hell this place was called. And she put on her new fur. And I just didn't, I just didn't like that she didn't have on. I just didn't like that. To me, that wasn't nice. Put on your shirt, put on your bra. We're out in public, and please attach your tooth. Okay, please. But again, John say nada, right? So she didn't have on even any of that. So they're trying on their matching furs, and they're walking around the store, and the owner started saying how much everybody talks about them and how they like them as a couple. And he basically was saying how, more people gravitate towards rock than they do BlueFace and, so on and so forth. So then they pretend like, because you know what I seen? This is what I'll say I seen, right? I could see what Chrisean sees in BlueFace. I could see the kind of like, he saved me kind of type of feel, because I see when she gets like out of sorts or like emotional or like upset, he has like a way of managing that makes her feel protected and loved and understood and heard and so on and so forth. And that you guys will get to see it yourself. Like, it's plenty of times during the show where she has like emotional outbursts, and instead of him being like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you, or beefing with her, he's normally like, what's good, calm down, let me see how I can fix it, kind of thing. And so I could see what she sees in him. But anyway, he knows how to do some of those like endearing kind of things to pull her in. And when they're in the first store, he acts like they're having a wedding. And he's like, come, give me your hand. And he's acting like the owner's like the priest, and he's going to marry them and everything. And again, it's a sweet thing to do when you're dating a guy and they know you're mushy and romantic like that. So I get it. But she really bust out crying. And I was like, I got that, it was a romantic gesture. I got that she may be a incredibly emotional person. And I got how she could feel something in that moment, because that was sweet of him to do. It was like a real hard down cry though, like a real serious cry, to a point that it's like, I probably would have asked if I was in the store, like, is everything okay? Because I wouldn't have understood why are you crying to this magnitude over a fake wedding in a first store. Like, I don't know. But anyway, they put back on their original coats. I don't know if they ever got anything from there, and they left, right? So then they arrived at a place that they were going to be modeling that for Fashion Week to practice their catwalk, right? So initially she was saying like, oh, come on, walk with me. He like, no, go ahead. She like, no, walk with me, because they was practicing. He like, nah, go ahead. So she did her catwalk, and then she stopped. And then I think she thought when he didn't want to walk with her, he didn't want to walk at all. But I guess he wanted to walk by himself. So then he did his little cat strut too. And again, both cool, no problem. It just, again, his hair was not combed. His skin didn't look good. Rock didn't have on a shirt, a bra, or a tooth. So just these parts kind of stood out to me, right? So anyway, when he did his catwalk, I don't know, something about that upset Chrisean. Now, what I got from it was she could have been upset because, he didn't want to walk with her. But once again, the upset leads to like this hysterical cry. And in those moments, once again, if I was just somebody there observing, I would have had to ask, is everything okay? Because in this moment, I don't see what's the reason to be so upset. But anyway, she got really, really upset. She started crying. So once again, like I said, BlueFace is really good at kind of like helping her manage those emotions in those moments. So he's like, what's wrong with you? Like, what is upsetting you? And she was like, because you keep playing with my dick. And then she was like, she went on this rant and she was like, you act like I'm one of these corny bitches, and you act like we not getting money. And I mean, she just got very upset. Once again, I'm not really clear on what would make her that upset. I'm not, maybe something might happen behind the scenes that they edited out. I do not know. But I know he was like, okay, and she was very upset, right? So that went on. What I will say, and I did tell you guys we would touch on some things that are a tad bit serious. I won't go into too much detail until I watch a couple of more episodes, but I have to be honest, and if I'm being honest, in my assessment, Chrisean gives me emotionally disturbed vibes. You know, and that's not even really me making like a judgment to be mean. Like if I was doing an assessment as, maybe a mental health consultant, I would have to say that she could be emotionally disturbed, but in all fairness to her, I'm going to continue to watch more episodes before I make that diagnosis official. But I don't know. She just gave me that because those 2 times when she got to that level of upset and crying, it really, really did not warrant that in those moments. And I mean, it's like uncontrollable. So that's what makes it like scary. But okay, let's continue. All right. So the next day they're in the hotel room and it's the next morning after the whole, her getting upset and things of that nature. And like I said, I'm going to say it again. BlueFace is very endearing when it comes to her. He has a really, really good handle on how to help her manage her emotions. So he was saying like, hey, good morning. How do you think yesterday went? Are you feeling better today? You started crying. What was that all about? Trying to kind of get from her, is everything okay? Because today I'm trying to have a good day. Are you going to be okay? So she just said that he was being selfish and insensitive. And I think he was a little unclear on how. But I also, a part of me doesn't feel like he was unclear on how, because a part of me feels like I don't think he was unclear on how. I think he doesn't agree with her, but he knows how she is. So he could understand why she felt that way because he knows how she is. So he was kind of trying to smooth that over, whatever the case may be, right? So they were starting to get themselves together because they were starting their day of promo. What was happening was, again, they're in New York for New York Fashion Week. So they were going to go around and do some promo because, again, they are the talk of the town. Rock and BlueFace are the talk of the town. They're in the headlines almost every week, right? So now they're going around to do their promo. When they left out to do the promo, Chrisean had on panties, leg warmers, Air Force Ones, a cropped vest, and her tooth was still detached. I pray that this is not funny. I pray during the course of this show, I get to find out why would the tooth continuously be detached? Because if you have it, unless it's missing, is it gone? What is going on? Is there a tooth without his face on it? Do you only have the tooth with it? Like, this is just too much. So I pray that at some point she attaches the tooth, because it's going to bother me to keep seeing that missing, like her living room is empty. So, okay. Anyway, so they go around and they start doing a promo. They arrive at Sirius XM, Shade 45. They're doing a radio interview. Chrisean does a performance at the radio station. Maybe folks here in the comments can enlighten me as to what that was, because I'm not clear. I'm not at all clear. Is Chrisean a rapper? If so, was that her rap lyrics? Was that a serious performance? I wasn't clear. And BlueFace was just at the side like, yeah, babe. Doing what he's supposed to do. Supporting his woman. So okay. But they did the performance. They left there. Then they were just moving through the New York streets doing interviews. They went up to thisis50.com. They interviewed with somebody. They interviewed at Angela Yee's lip service. You know what was the main theme surrounding their interviews is basically was, the toxicity and the volatile relationship that they had and how does that work for them. And you know what I noticed about when they're interviewed and those questions come up, what ends up happening is BlueFace usually like plays the back, and he allows Chrisean to answer all the questions surrounding the toxicity of relationship and how do you guys think this is gonna work, and do you think the rest of the world thinks that you're good for each other, and are you afraid that something bad is gonna? They just start asking all the questions that need to be asked, and she just starts defending it. What young people do, what that's not you crazy, that's my nigga. Like it's all good. Like everybody go through stuff. If I bust his head, it's straight, and just basically giving a very this generation, what I would call it, answer for those type of questions, right? And I think that folks are asking those questions, one of the reasons is because she was interviewing with mature folks. And I think that folks are a little bit concerned, but I think that they are kind of taken aback at the responses that she give, and they don't want to be combative with her. So it's almost like, oh, okay, yeah, we all do go through stuff. Okay, but whatever. But I think Blueface knows better. And I think to some degree, Blueface might have a tad bit been raised right. So he'd know that some of this is BS. That's why a lot of times when he's faced with these questions and, certain actions, he kind of like retreats into his shell because I think to some degree he might be embarrassed. But the underlying reality of that is they're making money off of it. And I think he's more concerned with that than he is with, showing a wholesome upbringing. Right? So anyway, then we fast forward and they're at the fashion show because apparently the reason why they was at Daniel's Leathers or Daniel's Furs or whatever the place is called is because Daniel's was having a fashion show that was a part of New York Fashion Week, and they were going to walk in it. So they walked in the show, What we did see was Jim Jones and Mano was there, but they blurred their face out because, of course, you can't use their likeness on their show. Another thing, and you guys can Google this and drop down in the comments and let me know some more information about this, was Lemmy Plummer, who is the creator of Zeus Network. I know he's the head honcho in charge over there, or at least one of them. Apparently, at this fashion week, there was like a little bit of an issue between him and Mano. And Mano might have really, really pulled out his goon antics. I'm a little confused on why they would come out on Lemmy Plummer because just looking at him, you could see that there's not a bit of goon in him. So I'm confused about what took place, but they did say something happened at that event. I don't know. I wasn't there. In any event, yes, so they did walk in a fashion show and they played Chrisean's song. And I guess that was the song that she was performing at the radio station. Once again, I'm unclear. So if somebody could provide clarity, feel free to drop down in the comments and do so. Maybe provide a link to where I can find what that actually was. I don't know. So, okay. All right. So moving right along. So now... I wrote here, they head to Baltimore, and apparently this is where Chrisean is from, right? So what it seems as though is they may have a business event out in Baltimore, but they're also going to meet up with Chrisean's family, right? So when they head over there, Chrisean is on FaceTime with somebody. Then she hangs up. And she's upset. And she said, I'm over all this shit. You, family, everybody. To Blueface. And he's like, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. She says that to Blueface. So Blueface is like, oh, Lord, what did I do now? But they're in a Sprinter, right? So why she said she was over him and the family and everybody, I don't know. She was on the phone with somebody, right? Blueface get on the bus. I'm guessing that they on a Sprinter, and I'm guessing that they're going to meet up with the family, right? She calls them on the phone from the Sprinter, and it seems like everybody was waiting for Chrisean, and somebody had a show. I think one of the family members had a show and felt like they couldn't wait for Chrisean and Blueface anymore, so they left. I don't know who was the family member that had the show. I wasn't clear what was really going on with the family because nobody in the family was mic'd. you just could hear from Chrisean and her yelling on the phone, family, right? And she stopped the bus to take what I think was supposed to be a private call. And when BlueFace went to check on her, she was boohoo crying. And she said things didn't go as planned. And once again, the emotional reaction to whatever didn't go as planned, I get the impression it was disproportionate to what was really happening, because for whatever reason she was extremely upset. And these outbursts, I don't know, it really, really. All right, let me say this, right? Because I'm an emotional person. You do not get to gauge how people react when they're in an emotional state, right? I get that. I'm okay with that. My concern is that when you have these reactions, I don't think that you're really clear on, the magnitude of your reaction. And I also think that it's disproportionate to the situation. So it seems like it could be something that could be resolved and you can handle by just like maybe having a conversation or doing something differently. But I think because you don't have those coping mechanisms, you just really, really go left, and it becomes way bigger than what it needs to be, because you're having a over reaction to what is taking place. And it's scary because it kind of seems like you don't really know how to come back. But I think that what makes BlueFace work, whether people agree with it or not, is that he really has like this special thing he does to kind of reel her back in. Granted, when it goes left, I can honestly see that it's probably a situation that goes left. That's why everybody is calling it a toxic and volatile relationship. I get that part. But I don't think it's always left. I think for the most part, she might be having a lot of breakdowns, and I think it goes left when he eventually has one with her. I think for the most part, he tries to keep her from having breakdowns, because I think anything can make her have a breakdown. That's why I feel she might be a little emotionally disturbed. But again, I have to continue watching. I don't want to prejudge. But just from that initial episode, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, so the next day, Chrisean is back on the phone trying to meet up with her family again, because if I'm not mistaken, I think that in order for him to like try to calm her down, he took her bowling the day before, like to say like, listen, we'll try again tomorrow, because again, he has that thing that he does to kind of get her back in formation. So now the next day, she back on the phone and she's trying to meet up with the family again, because I think it was important for her, because it seemed like this was going to be BlueFace's first time meeting her family. So I think it was important for her family, in her mind, for her family to meet, her boo, which would be important for anybody that you're taking seriously. So it was a whole bunch of drama, and I think the family was pissed off, because I get the impression that they kind of felt like you think people are supposed to sit around and wait for you, and it was all of the drama on the phone. The only thing that made it hard was that you couldn't really tell what the family felt, because they were not mic'd. So you could just hear Chrisean yelling once again like a nut. Now, there was a sister that showed up. The sister was Tessa. Tessa wasn't. Tessa showed up, and I think she left the rest of the family, but she showed up because she really wanted to see Chrisean, because you could tell she's very close to her family. And she also wanted to meet BlueFace, so she came and she got in the van, and she was excited to see Chrisean. She was also excited to meet BlueFace, but then when she got in the Sprinter rather, she just broke down in prayer. So, it was like, Father God, just bless this soul. And Father God, just bring us through. And Father God, just. And I mean, BlueFace was like. And I'm not going to lie, I was looking around like BlueFace. And let me be clear. And I'm going to say this in BlueFace's defense as well. It's not because we have anything against prayer. I think that, BlueFace was a little confused because he didn't understand what were we praying about. Now, granted, in all fairness, you can pray about nothing. But, most times for most people, when they back out of prayer, it's normally because something happened and, you kind of want to rectify what's going on, and things of that nature. So when she backed out the prayer just like that, I think he was kind of caught off guard, like, ugh, okay. And I think, in all fairness to her, she backed out that prayer because of the way Chrisean had already been yelling and screaming and cursing and everything to everybody else on the phone. She knew that she was out of sorts, and I think she felt like prayer would bring her back. And I mean, Chrisean did look like she was adhering to the prayer that Tessa was saying, and things of that nature, right? So all three of them are in the sprinter. Somebody calls Tessa and tells her, like, oh, you supposed to be with us and things of that nature, as she gets out the sprinter. Then Chrisean calls somebody in the family as she busts out hooting and hollering. Once again, it was an extremely emotional reaction that looked like it was, I don't know what's going on, but it looked like it was, I think something's going left in the back. Hold on one second. Ooh, okay. Ooh. But yeah, so it was hold on. Hold on. This is ratchet, but I'm not editing this out. I'm just gonna tell them I can hear your whole conversation on the recording. He's being a dad, so you can't interrupt when he's being a dad, which would be fine by me, but I'm recording, so. But no worries, no worries. Studio coming soon, and we will not have to deal with this drama, okay? Okay. So now back to the ending of this, right? So now that's okay. So now, she gets on the phone, and then as she's screaming and hollering, her mom calls, or she calls her mom, however that goes. When she, it's okay. When she calls her mom, it's more screaming and hollering and crying and spitting because there's no tooth and just a lot going on, right? And she's calling somebody in the family weird, and she said it's about to get active. And then she hangs up the phone on this person, and Chrisean gets in somebody's van and just pulls off reckless, about to hit about three people, and just rides off into the sunset. And the show goes off from there. So I don't know if Chrisean hit somebody. I don't know if there's a lawsuit. I don't know whose van that was. I don't know if she put a tooth in. I don't know what the hell is going on. But guess what, guys? I am tuned in. I am tuned in. I am tuned fuck in. I'm tuned in. I'm very excited about starting to do show reviews because, like I said, I'm really entertained by TV. It cracks me up, especially these little ratchet reality shows. And, I like to hear other people's perspective and also share mine on the shows that I watch. So, yes. That's my take on Chrisean and BlueFace Crazy in Love. It's on the Zeus Network. I think it's going to come on every Sunday. I'm not sure. I'm going to come back with the deets for you guys. But I'm telling you, I think folks should tune in so we could get a good laugh. I think you should tune in so we could get a good laugh. I think the Zeus Network is like $5 a month. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll be nice and give you guys my Zeus login. I owe y'all. But in any event, please tune in so we could get a good laugh. And not even only for a good cackle, but I think too, some of these discussions need to be had because a lot of us, I know for myself, I'm 40, a lot of my peers are the same age and a lot of their young people are this age, and they're now having these relationships, and you want to be able to see what your young people were seeing and looking at as a template for relationships, because this is how they may be conducting themselves in a relationship. And you want to know what's going on because that may not be what you want for your young person. Who knows? But in any event, you guys, tune in. I have a lot in store for y'all. Stay tuned. It's on the way. I have these next couple of weeks off. I promise within the next week, I'm going to come back human because I know. Y'all don't got to tell me. But I thank y'all. I love y'all. Please subscribe, like, share, comment. And if it comes on tonight, I'll tune in and I'll drop this review midweek instead of waiting till next week. Alrighty. I miss you guys. I'm back. It's up and it's stuck. See you soon.